Everyone. I received a question today about some confusion about the online discussions, and I think it may be due to the way I articulated the discussions and just the nature of trying to describe how an online discussion should happen in a Word document or written, I should say, is maybe not necessarily the best or the clearest way to do it. So I want to take a few minutes just to address how I want the online discussions to go. Now, every course you take at Fuller is going to require online discussions. Most online discussions require you to post an initial response to a prompt, followed by two responses to fellow students. Now, when it's a kind of free-for-all method, I find that it doesn't really facilitate discussion. Um, and here's why I say this. Okay, so imagine there's four students in a group, and everybody's required to upload an initial response followed by two responses to other students. Okay, so here's a chart that I put together. So there's students 1 through 4. Each student posts an initial response to the prompt followed by two responses to other students. Well, student 1 responds to student 2 and 3. Student 2 responds to student 1 and 3. Student 3 responds to 1 and 4, and student 4 responds to 2 and, well, I guess to himself. He must have responded to student 3 who responded to him. But as you can see, if it's a free-for-all method, and everybody does their two minimum required student responses, it doesn't really facilitate a focused or engaged dialogue. And so the method that I want to use is designating one student per week under whose initial response everybody's student responses will fall under. And here's kind of what that looks like. So there's the initial post or initial prompt. Every student posts their responses to the prompt, but this week it's student 3's response that is going to facilitate that dialogue. So everybody's student responses will fall under student 3's initial response to the prompt. This week is going to respond to student 4's initial prompt response. Same thing with students 1 and 2. All the discussion is going to happen under student 3's initial post. And so in this one, student 1 responds directly to student 3. Student 3 then responds to student 1, his response. Student 2 jumps in and responds to something that student 3 said. Student 1 then responds back to student 3. Student 2 responds to student 1, maybe asks a clarifying question, etc. Student 4 jumps in and doesn't respond to this brief discussion thread, but instead responds to something specifically that student 3 wrote in his or her initial response. And then there's an ensuing discussion between student 4 and student 3 down here. Now, again, what I hope this does is facilitates a concentrated and focused dialogue that's initially started by student 3's initial prompt response. And so, again, I hope this facilitates a more concentrated and focused dialogue. And what I also want you to do is just don't get online. Don't get online and just upload two responses right away to fulfill that requirement. What I hope happens is you, let's say, respond to somebody on Friday, wait a day to see if anybody responds to you, or wait till the evening or maybe the next day, and then jump back in the discussion and see what's taking place. I also hope that the dialogue furthers and continues such that you have the time to do more than two responses, that there's a real discussion and dialogue that takes place over the course of the weekend. So I hope that's clear. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, again, please let me know, and I'll do as much of it and as best as I can to ensure that the instructions are clear. Thanks.